Jack Legs Diamond was born July 10, 1897, in Philadelphia, after his mother's death. Jack moved with his father and brother to Brooklyn, New York. Growing up, poor Jack turned to street gangs and got involved in theft and violent crimes as a teen. He later began to work for gangsters Arnold Rothstein and Jacob Morgan. He set up shop and was known for being extremely violent and murderous. He earned his Legs nickname because of his quickness when running from a scene. He married Alice Schiffer in 1926. She remained devoted to him through his strings of crime and mistresses, which included a notable affair with showgirl Kiki Roberts. In August 1927, he played a role in the murder of Jacob Organ. His brother Eddie was Organ's bodyguard, but Jack substituted for Eddie that day. As he and Organ were walking down a street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, 3 young men approached them and started shooting. Organ was fatally wounded, and Jack was shot 2 times below the heart. He was taken to Bellevue Hospital, where he eventually recovered. During the late 1920s, Prohibition was in force, and the sale of beer and other alcohol was illegal in the United States. He traveled to Europe to find beer and narcotics, but failed. He did score liquor which was dumped overboard in partially full barrels which floated into Long Island as ships entered New York. Following Jacob Organ's death, Jack went to work overseeing bootleg alcohol sales in downtown Manhattan. That brought him into conflict with Dutch Schultz, who wanted to move beyond his base in Harlem. He also ran into trouble with other gangs in the city. In 1930, he and 2 henchmen kidnapped Grover Parks, a truck driver in Cairo, New York, and demanded to know where he had obtained his load of hard cider. When Parks denied carrying anything, Jack and his men beat and tortured Grover Parks. Eventually, they let him go. A few months later, Jack was charged with the kidnapping of James Duncan. He was sent to Catskill, New York for his first trial, but was acquitted. However, he was convicted in a federal case on related charges and was sentenced to 4 years in jail. In a 3rd trial in Troy, New York, he was acquitted. On October 12, 1930, while he was in his hotel room at the Monticello Hotel on the west side of Manhattan, 2 men forced their way into his room, shot him 5 times and then fled. He staggered out into the hallway and collapsed. On April 27, 1931, he was shot and wounded again, this time at the Aratoga Inn, a roadhouse near Cairo. He was eating in the dining room with 3 other people when he walked out to the front door. A gunman with a shotgun shot him 3 times and he collapsed by the door. On December 18, 1931, his enemies finally caught up with him. At 4:30 a.m., he went back to his room and passed out on the bed. 2 gunmen entered his room. One of the men held Jack down while the other shot him 3 times in the back of the head.